Hey, what is up guys? I am Jose and welcome back to the Entertainment Seeker Network. And wow, this channel's been dead for quite a while, but here I am back to resurrect it, back to talk about movies with you guys again. And so, what better way to finish off 2016 than talking about the biggest stink bombs of 2016 in the world of horror, the shittiest horror films of the year, the films that had me wanting to shake my eyes out. God, I don't know why I endured through these films. But, let's end off the year. Let's go ahead and talk about some bad horror films. So let's go ahead and do it. Just as a little side note before I begin, I did not watch every horror film this year. Given the fact that I already tortured myself with these movies I'm going to talk about right now, I really did not want to sit through some of the other stink bombs from this year. I really did not see why I should had to watch them, but anyway, like I said, I already tortured myself enough with these films, so let's go ahead and get right into them. So starting off, I have some dishonorable mentions. I want to mention films that were really, really bad, but weren't as bad as the ones in my top 10 list. So let's go. So we're going to go ahead and start talking about some of those. So Before I Wake, Mike Flanagan's new movie. Mike Flanagan had 3 films come out this year. This one was supposed to come out last year, I believe, but it ended up coming out this year. But this one, it wasn't great. It wasn't complete awful garbage, but it really wasn't great at all. It was a little too predictable. It really skimped on the story and stuff. It wasn't his best work. I could see aspects where the film was picking up and it was kind of getting to go somewhere, but then it was kind of killed by stupid jump scares and dumb paranormal movie cliches and stuff. But yeah, Before I Wake, it wasn't awfully bad, but it was still pretty bad and not Mike Flanagan's best work. Next up, we have Yoga Hosers, which is Kevin Smith's new movie. Kevin Smith is really not at all a great director. We're just gonna go ahead and get that out there. I'm not quite keen on Kevin Smith's work. Tusk, which we saw a few years ago, wasn't really a good movie either. In my opinion, this one was better than Tusk. This one's kind of like a spin-off and stuff, but it's really messy. It's really all over the place. You really have no clue what the hell is going on and stuff. And the story develops really late on into the film and stuff. So the first few 45 minutes or so, it's just random shit going on and stuff. But the chemistry between the two main actresses, which are Kevin Smith and Johnny Depp's daughter, that's actually pretty good, and that's like the saving grace of this film. Because if it really wasn't for their chemistry and their comedic timing and stuff, this movie would be absolute garbage. But just because of that, I'm keeping it off the top 10 list. And so, yeah, dishonorable mention. And my last dishonorable mention, I didn't really put this one on the list, but I wanted to put it on the list, but I didn't put it on the list because it really wasn't a theatrical release. And that's the straight-to-TV remake of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which was absolute trash in my opinion. It was watered down from the original. It was really lazily done. It was very sloppy and stuff. It felt really disorganized, and it really didn't have that Rocky Horror Picture Show feel. Like, I've seen some live on stage performances of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and that captures the essence more of the film than this remake did. It just tried to glamorize it and make it more hip for teens nowadays and stuff, but it really wasn't great in my opinion. It was just absolute garbage and stuff. The only thing good that came out of this was Laverne Cox doing a very good Frankenfurter and stuff, and then Victoria Justice, who also did a pretty good job in this. But aside from that, everybody else in this film was absolutely awful and stuff. But I'm keeping it off the top 10 list because it wasn't a theatrical release. So now let's get into the main list. Alright, so at number 10, Intruders. Now, this was a movie I saw very early on in the year, and I don't really remember much from it. But what I do remember is me absolutely wanting to kill myself while I was watching it and stuff. It's kind of like one of those home invasion thrillers that really takes a left turn and stuff, and it tries to turn all unique and unpredictable and stuff. But the way it was directed, it really fell flat on its face once you got to that twist. And the plot just wasn't developed enough where you care about the characters and stuff. They were very two-dimensional characters. Like I said, the plot wasn't really as developed, so really when the twist happened, you really had no idea why or what was going on and stuff. So it was really one of those films that just has you questioning why you're watching this and stuff, and it tries to be original in a sense, so you can give props to that for, but it ultimately falls flat on its face and it ends up being a disaster in the end. Moving on, at number 9 we have Cell. Now Cell is a movie based on a Stephen King book and stuff, and it stars Samuel L. Jackson and John Cusack, which I had no idea what those two actors are doing here. The movie itself is an absolute disaster from the very first scene. It is awfully directed. That first airport scene is so badly directed that it's laughable at parts. If you're not laughing in that airport scene, I don't know where to tell you. It's so absolutely messy and stuff that you really don't know what's going on. It's full of the old zombie cliches and stuff that you see in every zombie apocalypse movie. The characters are all cookie cutter cliche zombie apocalypse characters and stuff. You really don't care at all about them. You don't care at all what's going on in the plot. And then the ending is absolutely mind-boggling in an awful way that you don't know what the fuck is going on at the end of this film. You're really just sitting there thinking, what the hell is going on? I have no idea what's watching because the plot itself doesn't take time to explain it. And they have this villain guy in like this red jacket going after them and stuff, but he's supposedly from like a comic book or something. Who knows? They really don't explain that shit at all. And it makes little to no sense at all. And just... it was an awful experience to sit through, so Cell is my number 9. Number 8, Frederick West. Now this is another one of those Facebook horror films, kind of like Unfriended was last year, but in my opinion, Unfriended pulled it off a little bit better because it was, you know, more original with the whole Skype thing, and it was very well written in my opinion, Unfriended, since you could really have like a lot of tension and stuff in there with that whole premise and stuff. This one just kind of felt kind of like sloppily thrown together, trying to like capitalize on the success of Unfriended and stuff. And it's not the whole Skype horror thing that Unfriended was, but it just follows like that theme of like the Facebook horror films and stuff, where somebody friends somebody on Facebook and then they unfriend them and now they have to kill them because they unfriended them and stuff. And it's pretty much the same movie you've seen over and over again with a similar premise and stuff. The pacing in this one is quite bad and stuff. It's really, really boring and drags on at times and stuff. And it starts off pretty slow and then it moves on to being really, really fast paced and stuff, and then again it slows down and you end up being bored and stuff. So most throughout this movie I was just really bored and stuff, and I wasn't really disappointed because I wasn't looking forward to this film, but you know, it showed some promise towards the middle where it started to pick up, but then it just ended up going stale in my opinion. Number 7, we have one of the most recent horror films that came out this year, and that's Incarnate, which stars Aaron Eckhart, and I don't even know where to start with this movie. You know, it's pretty much your paranormal possession plot cliche film and stuff. It straight up rips off scenes from The Exorcist, especially that ending, which is The Exorcist. And Aaron Eckhart, look, I don't know what you're doing in these films. I don't know what the hell you were doing in I, Frankenstein. I don't know what you're doing in this film. His overacting in this film is absolutely laughable. I mean, this guy overacts it like a bitch. It is absolutely hilarious at parts, but at times it does get pretty annoying and stuff. This film's main problem, in my opinion, is that it bit off more than it can chew. It really takes all these cool ideas and premises, but it really never explains them. It just follows the same old possession cliche storyline and really doesn't explain any of these cool elements that it's picked up along the way and stuff. So that's in my opinion why Incarnate is really just an absolute mess of a film and stuff. And like I said, Aaron Eckhart's overacting. You know, I really don't know what you're doing in these films. You're clearly a better actor than that, but you know, that's what it is. Number 6, Morgan. This is kind of like a science fiction, kind of like horror thriller and stuff. At first I really don't know what to think about it. It felt kind of eerie in a way. It had that kind of eerie sense behind it. Kind of since the plot was kind of like shrouded in mystery and stuff, and it was very, very intriguing the first few minutes to see just what was going on. But then the movie really doesn't explain what's going on, and you really don't know what's going on, and it just turns into this whole boring cliche fest and stuff. It kind of felt like a really watered down horror version of Ex Machina and stuff, but Ex Machina was brilliantly directed and suspenseful and stuff, which is stuff this film is, which was just full of unnecessary jump scares here and there and stuff, undeveloped characters and very undeveloped plot and stuff, and it was just overall pretty boring to sit through and stuff. And then at the end of the film you get an obvious cliche stupid ending that you all saw coming from a mile away, and so yeah, it's predictable as hell and stuff, and it's not really fun at all. Number 5, we have The Forest. When I saw The Forest the first time, I told myself, this is the problem with modern day horror films. The Forest embodies the modern day horror film issue, which is a film that comes out in January with the very intriguing premise behind it of drawing people, which is really obviously a really low budget film that makes a lot more money than it's supposed to. It brings in a talented performer in the main role to give the movie credibility, as they did with Natalie Dormer and stuff. But then it's filled with the whole unnecessary jump scares, predictable plot, throwaway elements, and a stupid twist at the end that everybody sees coming from a mile away. It's an absolute travesty and stuff, and I absolutely can't stand films like these and stuff. So, you know, maybe next year I'll stop torturing myself going to films in January, horror films and stuff, which I know are clearly going to be bad, which you can see from the trailer and stuff. But, you know, like I said, The Forest is a perfect embodiment of the problem with horror films today, and that's why it's on the list. Number 4, we have the other side of the door, and God, this movie was oh fuck, this movie was awful. I'm serious. There's no way to sugarcoat it. There's no way around it. This film was an absolute bore. It was an absolute fucking mess story-wise. It was an absolute mess directorial-wise. And God, what the hell is up with all these horror films about losing a child this year? I saw 3 of these fucking films this year and they're all on the list and stuff. None of them are really different from the other. They're all the same fucking bullshit, full of fucking paranormal bullshit, cliches and stuff. A fucking predictable storyline, fucking annoying characters and stuff. There's really nothing good about this film and stuff, and it just gets progressively worse as you keep watching it. And that's why it's on the list, and I should stop talking about it before I remember it. Number 3, we have The Darkness, and this is one of the messiest films I've seen this year. Kevin Bacon, like I said to Aaron Eckhart, what are you doing in here, man? What are you doing in here? This movie is absolute fucking garbage from the beginning of it. You know where it's gonna end when you start this movie and stuff. It's full of the whole paranormal activity bullshit cliches and stuff. You got the stupid unnecessary jump scares. You have the stupid undeveloped plot and stuff that has promise behind it. You have really bad child acting and stuff. And the suspense is all muffled, like I said, by the jump scares. The direction is pretty fucking throwaway and stuff. And the script is an absolute fucking mess. But, you know, it's pretty laughable at parts. I can give it that on how bad it is. But this isn't really a film where you can say it's so bad it's good, because like I said, there are elements that are pretty funny on just how terrible this film is. But then there are parts that seriously just fucking annoy you and just really want to make you throw yourself into the darkness, which is what this film is about. Number 2, Cabin Fever. The obligatory remake that always has to suck year after year. You know, this is one, if not the worst horror remake I have ever seen in my life. I'm just going to go ahead and straight out put that out. You know, the Nightmare on Elm Street remakes and the Halloween remakes, I can't stand them and I hate them with a passion, but at least there's some shreds of light behind them. This film has really nothing good at all from it. You know, the original Cabin Fever isn't gold either. I'm not a fan of Eli Roth's Cabin Fever. It's an absolute mess as well, but this film follows that film in a heartbeat. It's the exact same fucking script. It's the exact same fucking lines. It's the exact same fucking plot from beginning to end. The only thing this film tries to do is up the ante with the sexuality and the gore and the eerie factor. They give the fucking kid from the liquor store a paper bunny mask, for Christ's sake, just to bring people into the theater so they can put that in the trailer. Really, this film, I couldn't stand it, and I absolutely thought this was going to be the worst horror film of the year until I came across number 1, The Disappointments Room. Now, if there was a movie whose name could really tell you how this movie would be, The Disappointment Room nails it in the head, because this film is one of the messiest films I have ever seen. I'm going to straight up say, one of the worst horror films I have ever seen in my life. And believe me, I've seen a lot of horror films and stuff, and this one is just a mess everywhere and stuff. The story itself is so fucking messy that you don't know where you're going. It keeps on cutting between unnecessary dream flashbacks and fucking stupid cliche bullshit elements from the future and stuff, and fucking cliche bullshit paranormal elements that you've seen over and over and over and over again, and just have been beat over the head with this shit and stuff. The direction in here is absolutely fucking disastrous. I don't think I've seen so far this year. A movie that's as badly directed as A Disappointment Room. Even the editing in this film fucking sucked, and it was one of the main problems behind this film, that it's edited in such a fucking choppy, fucking messy way that you really can't get what's going on in the plot. You really can't understand it. It just keeps throwing you from the past to the future to fucking dream sequences to all these fucking paranormal bullshit elements, like I said, and it's an absolute mess, you know. Just to tell you how bad this film is, I would rather watch any of the films I previously talked about 10 more times before I have to watch The Disappointment Room one more time. I hate it, you know. Kate Beckinsale is the only good thing from this film, and even she's not enough to carry the film and stuff. It's absolute trash, and it's right now the worst horror film and film in general I've seen in 2016. That's going to be it for my worst horror films of 2016 list. If you enjoyed this video, please give this video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what are your worst horror films of 2016. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe to the Entertainment Seeker Network. Now that I'm back here, and we're probably going to keep this channel going now, going strong. We're going to keep talking about movies and stuff, so go ahead and subscribe. I'll be making some more top 10 lists for you guys. I have my top 10 best coming, top 10 most anticipated, and then we're just going to talk about films in general and stuff, and I'm thinking about doing some movie reviews. So go ahead and subscribe for that, and thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like I said, if you enjoyed it, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on the next video. I'm out.